In a mountain village where the air was thin and the nights carried a sharp, biting cold, there lived an old man named Kael. He held no title, he was not a chief or a healer, and he wore no mark of importance. Yet, when people in the village felt a quiet trouble in their hearts, when they felt lost or torn apart from the inside, they made the long walk to Kael's fire. They came not because he had all the answers, but because he knew how to listen. And when he finally spoke, his words were few, but they stayed with you for years. One evening, a young man named Daren arrived at the fire. He sat down heavily, his body carrying a weight no one else could see. His jaw was tight, his hands were clenched into white-knuckled fists, and his eyes burned with a storm somewhere between rage and sorrow. Kael said nothing. He simply poked the embers and waited for the silence to break. Finally, Daren spoke. "I do not know what is happening to me," he said. "One moment I want to forgive. The next I want to destroy. I feel peace, and then a hatred so strong it scares me. It is as if two different people are living inside my chest, and they are tearing me apart." Kael nodded slowly. He had heard these words many times before, from the young and the old, from the brave and the broken. He looked at Daren and said, "There are two wolves inside you." Kael recognized the specific exhaustion in Daren's eyes. It was the look of a person fighting a battle they cannot show the world, a quiet internal fracturing that remains hidden from view. Daren looked up, meeting the old man's steady eyes as the metaphor began to take shape. "The first wolf," Kael continued softly, "is darkness. It is anger, jealousy, and self-pity. It is the voice that insists the world is against you. It tells you that you are not enough, that everyone will betray you, and that you should strike before you are struck. This wolf feeds on fear. It grows stronger every time you replay your pain or choose bitterness over understanding." Kael paused as the fire crackled between them. "The second wolf is light. It is patience, kindness, and humility. It is the voice that tells you to try again, to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. It is the drive to build something, even when you have every reason to burn it down. This wolf feeds on small acts of courage. Every moment you choose grace instead of anger." Daren stared into the fire, watching the shadows move across his hands. Then Daren asked the question that follows this truth. Which wolf wins? Kael looked at him, his eyes steady. "The one you feed. While the dark wolf survives on the scraps of passive, bitter thoughts, the light wolf requires the active, daily discipline of choosing courage." Daren sat with those words. "But how?" he whispered. "How do I stop feeding the dark one? It is so loud. It speaks first and loudest. The other wolf is quiet. I can barely hear it." Kael smiled softly. "That is how it works. The dark wolf is loud because it is afraid. It screams because it knows that if you stop listening, it will starve. The light wolf is quiet because it is strong. It does not need to shout or convince you. It simply waits." Daren looked at his hands. "I have fed the wrong wolf for so long," he said. Kael shook his head. "Every human feeds both. That is not a failure. The real danger lies in pretending the dark wolf does not exist, or hoping it will simply vanish. You do not win by killing the dark wolf. You win by deciding, every single day, which one gets your time and your energy." The fire was low now, and the stars above were bright. Somewhere in the distance, a real wolf howled, pulling Daren's focus back to the present moment. Kael leaned forward. "The dark wolf reminds you of every time you failed, but the light wolf reminds you that you are still here, still breathing, and still choosing." Daren felt something shift. "What do I do tomorrow?" he asked. Kael looked at him with warmth. "Tomorrow, both wolves will be there. The dark one will speak first. It will offer you anger like a gift, and for a moment you will want to take it. But in that small space between thought and action," Kael said, You have a choice. That tiny moment of pause reclaims your agency. The path of a day is set in these quiet intervals. Feed the right wolf in that moment, and then do it again. Daren sat by the fire long after Kael had gone to sleep. He was not a different person that night, and his anger had not vanished, but something small and stubborn had changed. He knew now that while he could not control which wolf spoke first, he could control which one he answered. You are more than your darkest thoughts or your worst impulses. You are the observer who decides which ones to act on. Tomorrow will bring the same choice. Which wolf will get your attention? Keeping that quiet, continuous awareness is the hardest kind of strength there is.